Ladies and gentlemen, Clare Lopez, brilliant woman, the Vice President for Research and Policy Analysis at the Center for Security Policy, a senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, so many other credentials. Please welcome former CIA operative Clare Lopez.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you for coming out here tonight. It is so important that you are here to show your opposition to this dastardly deal. Almost 14 years ago, not very far from where we stand here tonight, and at the Pentagon, and on a plane full of heroes over Pennsylvania, America was attacked by Islamic jihadist enemies. As you just heard Ace Lyons talk about, the authors of that attack were not just Al-Qaeda. About 10 years after the attack, December 2011, Judge George Daniels, Southern District of New York, right here in Manhattan, issued a ruling. He said Iran is co-responsible, jointly responsible with Al-Qaeda and with Hezbollah for the attacks of 9/11. You didn't hear about that much, did you? Go to www.iran911case.com. Iran was never held responsible for those attacks, and nor was it held responsible for any of the others perpetrated against Americans, Israelis, and so many others over the years since that time. From the Marine Corps barracks bombings and the U.S. Embassy bombings in Beirut in 1983, all the way to the thousands of brave American troops maimed and killed by explosives in Iraq that came from Iran, and our leadership knew where they came from and they didn't say a word. Is it any wonder that this Iranian regime feels itself invulnerable, untouchable? And so last Saturday, you had the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in a speech telling how his and his regime's hatred and enmity for the United States and for Israel is eternal and would last forever. And just in case we didn't all get the message, his left hand gripped the barrel of a gun, an automatic weapon at his side by the podium. They were not held accountable. They still haven't been held accountable. That is not possible. That could not have happened except for an American leadership that is all too willing to abandon our friends, empower our enemies, and open the door to Armageddon with this nuclear deal with Iran. And so Iran gets to keep its entire nuclear weapons infrastructure. It gets to keep all its centrifuges. It gets to keep all of its enriched uranium. It gets $150 or so billion as a signing bonus, so it can spend it on its terror proxies like Hezbollah. It gets to keep its plutonium-producing facility at Arak, the one that was supposed to be closed down. And oh, by the way, not only is Arak not going to be closed down, we're going to help pay to modernize it. Iran also gets to keep secret any of its facilities it decides not to open up to investigation or inspectors. If it says they're off limits, they're off limits. This is the deal that has been struck with Iran. Iran also gets to keep its secret sites. It gets to say no to the inspectors. And oh, by the way, we've just learned there are two new side deals to this deal with Iran. And those deals have to do with a place called Parchin, where Iran was testing its explosives for its nuclear warheads, says the IAEA. And the other one about the possible military dimensions of Iran's nuclear weapons programs. These two side deals, not going to be made public, not going to be shared with Congress, not going to be shared with the American people or anybody else. They get to keep that all secret. The last thing that Iran gets to keep, they're keeping 4 American citizens hostage. I want to say their names. Christian pastor Saeed Abedini, former Marine Amir Hekmati, the Washington Post Tehran bureau chief Jason Rezaian, and former FBI agent Robert Levinson. Until these hostages are set free, we should not be having one word of negotiations with this Iranian regime. I'll leave you with a quote from Thomas Jefferson. He said, "If a nation expects to live with ignorance and freedom in a civilized state, what it expects has never been and never will be." This deal is bad for Israel. It is bad for the world. It is bad for America. We must stop this deal. Thank you.